Hey legends, what's up? It's Darkmech here from Big Dumb Gaming and welcome back to the final video for the Sepulcher of the First One's 2-minute tank guide series for LFR, Normal and Heroic, and today we're covering the Jailer. So this is a 3-phase encounter and I'm going to keep this as simple as I possibly can. It will probably go over 2 minutes, but I am going to try and keep it as simple as possible to get through this quickly. So let's break down the phases. 3 phases. Phase 1. Position wise, you can tank the boss pretty much where he's standing, move him slightly off center as your raid's going to be dropping into the holes around the encounter space and stacking on you from time to time, so just keep them away from Azeroth and give them a bit of room. Now, there are a number of abilities for you to be aware of in phase 1, and the first one we're going to cover is Chains of Oppression. Big, bad, black circle that goes around the Jailer. He'll grip the whole raid into him and continue to pull them for 6 seconds. After this, the Jailer will cast Oppression, which is this massive shadow damage hit. The damage is reduced via proximity, so the further you are away, the less damage you take. When Oppression's being cast, if you've got a lock in your raid, you'll most likely be gatewaying out of it. So when you get pulled into the center, bit of damage, click the gateway and go out. If you don't have a gateway, just run out. After this happens, when the Oppression goes off, you'll need to reposition the boss. Just let the boss come to you and then tank it in that new position. Relentless Domination. So the Jailer will spawn 3 pillars out of the circles in the ground, and you need to line of sight behind them when Relentless Domination occurs. If you don't line of sight, you will become MC'd. On Heroic, once the pillars go down, white lines will shoot out from them. If you get hit by 2 of these lines, they'll all be connecting to players, so everyone just needs to make sure they're standing where they're only getting hit by their line. If you get hit by 2, you get MC'd as well, so just avoid that. Torment. This is a 5-yard eruption circle that goes around players, and after 6 seconds it explodes. Just make sure you spread out and you don't stand in anyone's white circle. Your Taunt Swap mechanic for phase 1 features through the tank combo, which is 4 hits, and you're going to taunt after the second hit of the 4 hits. The tank combo is called Martyrdom, and it's 4 abilities. It's a root, it's a smack, it's a dot, and it's a soak, and they're all physical damage. So the root, which is called Imprisonment, will root you in place for 4 seconds if you're the active tank. Smack is called Persecution. This is the massive physical damage hit that applies 150% physical damage taken debuff to you for 40 seconds, and this is what you are going to taunt after. So Persecution, Taunt. The dot is called Suffering. This deals physical damage to the whole raid and applies a bleed for 21 seconds. And the last part of this tank combo is Misery, which is the soak. This strike strikes the target with a massive attack, puts a giant circle around them. The raid, if they don't have the runes where they're dropping into the holes, is just going to come and stack on you and split the damage. That is pretty much it. So that is phase 1, and it just repeats over and over and over until you transition into phase 2. Okay, so phase 2, lots of new things to be aware of here. However, there is no tank combo in this phase. The tank combo that was in phase 1 does not carry through into phase 2. You get a new Taunt Swap. Now, positioning wise in phase 2, if you can, move the boss to a location where there's some closed holes and a bit of open space. And what this will do is it'll reduce the number of potatoes in your raid that end up dying due to getting knocked back into a hole from the Decimator cast. Now, Decimator, this is where the Jailer throws his weapon, big blue swirly circle. Stay away from the big blue swirly circle, and when it lands, it knocks you back. Don't get knocked into Azeroth, don't get knocked off the edge, and don't get knocked into a hole. You'll have noticed that there are new pylons in this phase, and this is due to phase 2's mechanic Unholy Attunement. Now, the Jailer will raise pylons around the encounter space that spread unholy ground. It's a big blue zone around the bad looking pylons. You can't miss it. Now, while this is up, it'll be dealing raid damage whilst it's going on, and you want to destroy these pylons using the tank debuff Shattering Blast, and this is your Taunt Swap mechanic for phase 2. Each time one tank gets Shattering Blast, Taunt Swap. Now, Shattering Blast will put a big blue circle around the tank that the debuff's gone on, and you need to run to one of the pylons, put your blue circle over it, and destroy it. Now, the Jailer will be trying to connect 3 pylons towards Azeroth. Your job as the tank is to try and delay this phase as long as you can so your raid can get as much damage into the Jailer before progressing to phase 3. You want to alternate what pillars you are going to destroy. Have your mobile tank, your Brewmaster, your Prot Warriors, your Vengeance Demon Hunters going to the far pylons, and then have your immobile tanks like your DKs and your Paladins going towards the closer pylons to destroy them. As I said, once the Jailer connects 3 towards from the outside to the middle to Azeroth, you will transition into phase 3. So again, You will eventually get overrun, but just try and delay it as best as you can. Rune of Compulsion, this is an MC throwback to ICC. Several players are going to get marked with the rune. They'll get under the boss and then they'll get MC'd and start moving towards the edge of the platform. You can help in this by using chains, mass grip, A-bomb limb, leg sweeps, ring of peace, anything you can to keep these MC'd players under the boss so they can get cleaved down quickly is what you absolutely need to assist in. Torment is also featured in Phase 2. It ramps though, so same as Phase 1 in regards to the big white circles and spreading out, but in Phase 2 it'll leave a tormenting echo behind, which is a black swirl. So there'll be the white circle that'll explode, then there'll be a black swirl after it that people will also need to move out from as well. Just be aware of that. Eventually 3 pylons and connect and you'll go into Phase 3. Now Phase 3, you want to move the boss just away from the 3 connected pylons that ended up being connected to Azeroth as your starting point. Your raid will be working around from one side to the other basically. You won't need that much room, especially on normal and heroic with the way gearing's going and things like that, but just be aware of that. Now Torment and Decimator from Phase 2 transition into Phase 3. So Decimator, big blue swirly circle where the weapon gets thrown, don't get stuck in it and don't get knocked back into a hole. And the Torment, again, ramps from Phase 2 to Phase 3. So white circles spread out, then the black swirl will get left from the explosion, move out of that, and then in Phase 3 there will be an ad that will spawn on heroic. So in heroic you will also have an ad that will spawn out of the black swirl, so people will try and place their torment sort of in a close enough proximity where these ads can be gripped, cleaved down really quickly, and they're not spread out all over Narnia. They will do a cast and you have to assist in kicking them so a cast doesn't go off. In heroic also, you will have defile. Now people will be trying to bait defiles towards the corrupted pylons and towards the edge, and you'll just move around the encounter space as defile drops. Every time defile drops, move the boss well away so no one accidentally gets knocked back into it or steps in it or spreads for a torment and goes in defile and things like that. Your Taunt Swap mechanic in Phase 3 is Chains of Anguish. Now the current tank and 2 other targets will get marked and linked together via these chains. Think Soul Render. You need to snap these chains by moving 30 yards away, and you'll do it one by one, whether or not it's the tank booting away or if it's someone taking a gateway and breaking it that way. Your raid will work that out, but just snap them one at a time. Desolation, this is a big attack the Jailer will do at Azeroth. It deals up to 20% of Azeroth's health each time it is hit, so people can soak the damage of this to reduce the damage that Azeroth takes. You'll have your whole raid just stand in front of the frontal that goes towards Azeroth and then move back to your other positions. The last abilities to be aware of in this are Rune of Domination. So 2 players will get a big blue healing absorption circle around them. They'll run these into the raid, just stand in them, help get through the healing absorption. If the healing absorption doesn't go off, anyone that gets hit with the heal while they're standing in there will get MC'd. So it's really important that everyone stands in there, you get rid of the absorption and you move on with your life. And the last thing is falling debris will be coming down from the roof, big 25-yard radius, just don't stand in it. And that is it, guys. That is the fight. So any questions at all, hit me up. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for checking out this series. Hopefully it helps. I'll see you all next time. See you, fam. And today we're finally covering off the Jailer. No surprises. It'll be more than 2 minutes, but I will make it quick and simple. And we'll just why are there no words? Boom, boom. Which is reduced by